Hello, Andrew. Thank you so much for being on the Epic Kate podcast. I'm really, really
Okay,
glad to have you here.
mate, I really appreciate you asking me to come on. How have you been getting on?
Oh boy, I've been getting on as of the recording of this. My baby's about to turn 4 months.
Wow.
I've got two 6 year olds, and
Mm,
I'm trying to get back into the rhythm of podcasting and
mm,
uploading, and I'm taking it easy. I'm not letting it be like a you have to do this. Like when things become a you have to and a
mm.
stress, then it just hurts.
Heartfelt conversations can change the world. Here's the Epic Cade podcast.
Yeah, at the time of this recording, my twins have just turned 5. So, literally yesterday at the time of this recording. So, I've just been like focusing on I'm not doing anything. I want time with my kids because I won't get that time back. So thoroughly enjoying it. Like there was a wee carnival that was in one of the shopping centres just across the road from us. So we went there with them and one of their friends from nursery. I say friends. It's actually Kieran's wife. He's 5 and he has a wife.
Okay.
But yes, they have been courting for the last year. And then he proposed in the nursery and got married. And I thought, you know, this saved me so much money.
I mean, they really took their time, didn't they? A whole year of courtship.
They really did. That's like 7 years in kid time. It's the same way as like cats.
Oh,
But yeah, it was just so funny because I couldn't help but wind up the now in-law. And I was saying like, right, so when's Kieran moving in with you? Moving in with his bride? And we need a dowry set up. I want no less than a cow and an air fryer.
mm, it sounds reasonable to me.
I think so, yes. Especially in these modern times. And then Kira's been trying to pimp out his brother to get married to other girls in the nursery, and I'm like, you leave him be, let him be a bachelor. He's like me. He won't find his true love until he's in at least his late 20s.
Hmm. The Adventures of Scotland. Boy, howdy.
Definitely.
Do you feel like when you take a break from work, you miss that dopamine rush of hitting like upload and like seeing something to show for your work?
It's the dopamine rush doesn't really come for me when it's the upload. It's when I do like the kind of socials and go right, it's out there. It is now in the universe, and make of it what you will. But I personally think that I did a banging job. But it's again, if people watch it, I'm more than happy. If they don't, that's fine too. But
Mm.
if the people that watch it, they feel like maybe it's taking like a wee half hour out of their day, or sometimes what I do the thing where I watch my own stuff back when it's up as well. One is an extra view, and two, it's so I can kind of like assess my own skill, my own way of hosting, my own way of presenting, see what there is, what I can improve on, what was my strength, what editing tricks
Mm.
did I learn this time, like try and get that 1% better every time that I'm doing something, or
On a
even like a 0.5% is always good.
Yeah. And like on a personal level, do you get things from your hosts that from your guests that you really like that really touches you that you really apply to your own life?
Oh yeah, especially doing what the main one, that mental ginger show, getting I'm more selective with my guests now than I was at the start because I want to make sure it's someone that I feel can not only contribute to what I'm trying to do, which is obviously to help people and raise awareness of mental health issues, but at the same time, uh, give what if they have a good story to tell, and they're not just treating it like I'm just coming on to get the views, which for a time that's what it seemed to be. Like people were coming on thinking, "Oh, this is an easy ticket for me to get some views." You won't get the views if you're not interesting or you're not authentic. Because the authenticity, you'll know yourself, the authenticity is the currency of the online creating game. If you're not authentic, they can see right through you.
Yeah. It's it's heavy the things that you talk about, but you have such a gift in your interviewing that you keep it doesn't feel heavy, and it does there's laughter and everything too, and you just like when I was on your show so long ago, but I still just remember feeling so good afterwards. I just remembered feeling like, oh, I can't wait to talk to him again.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think it's because like I tried my best not to be a presenter, if that makes sense. Like, as far as I'm concerned, like, and I said it to you at the time, like, you're in my dining room, we're having a conversation, like, and the fact that it's just like it's on Zoom and it could potentially go out to people that are on YouTube and see what it is, then fair dues. But I get to meet someone, I get to talk to them, I get to connect with them, and find out things about them, and be a nosy git at the same time. But I just love like to talk to people, and what that's kind of my game.
Yeah. So it was your own mental health struggles that made you want to start the podcast in the first place?
It was, yes. But during kind of 2020, like everybody and their grandmother was making like podcasts or content, and I thought, well, I'll give it a try. And it wasn't good. It was middle-aged white guy ranting. That was basically what it was. But I didn't know
Excuse me, sir. You're not middle-aged. Like, we're like the
Te-
same age, aren't we?
yeah, but technically I am, because I'm 35. What?
I'm
And
older than you.
yeah, but if you count
You're
that the
not middle-aged.
but if you count that the halfway point, that's saying that I'll get to 70. And the Scots don't have a very good diet, so I'll be glad if I get to 70. I'll be quite chuffed. What? In fairness, so what?
Didn't mean to interrupt you there. Please
No,
carry
not at all. Not at all. But I didn't also mean to imply that you were middle aged because obviously being American and living in Sweden, you'll probably live a lot longer than I will. Well, and it's the same with my wife's older than me as well. Like my wife's, she just turned 40. What? So she's like, does that mean that I'm over middle age? And I'm like, no, you'll easily live to 80. You're fine. Well, if I don't kill her with stress. But yeah. So yeah, so I did that for a little while. Anyway, back to the kind of the current point, but I did it for a little while, and then my great aunt Gina, she passed away. She took a stroke and caught COVID in the hospital, and sadly, she never came out again. And it rocked me a lot more than I thought. I mean, she was 90, but she's one of those patriarchal figures or matriarchal ones, that you think will outlive everybody in the family, and she was like that to me, and it completely floored me. And I took like a really bad mental breakdown, and I actually had to be removed from my family for 6 weeks, which was the worst hell that I had possibly gone through. But I took the time to recover and heal and try and get myself back to my family, back to my kids, back to my wife, who was absolutely brilliant with me. She was so supportive even when I wasn't in the house. Well, she was like, look, your place is here with us, your place is home. Let me just get back here. And I did, and got to about mid 2021, and I wanted to do something that kind of honored man's memory and the people that helped me when I was struggling. And I'd always wanted to do a cover of Flower of Scotland. Well, it was like something I'd wanted to do for about 12 years, and I'd never had the confidence to do it. And I thought, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it as a big project, and I'm going to do it to raise money for a mental health charity, which I did. We raised £700 for the Scottish Association of Mental Health, which was great, and it was a really great feeling. And I realised I still wanted to perform. I still wanted to do some sort of creative venture and output. And I thought, well, what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about the arts. Passionate about acting, singing, creating in any type of sense. And I'm passionate about raising awareness of mental health because I go through it. So I thought combine the two and get people that I know from acting circles or theatre companies, authors, whoever's in the creative field, and we talk about their work, we give them a bit of promotion, talk about mental health aspect as well. And that Mental Ginger show was kind of reborn. And it was surprising how quickly it took off. I mean, you know it yourself, but I feel like I'm preaching the converted because you know the story because I keep you updated like everybody else. But just for any listeners, it got monetized within 3 months, and I was like, what is going on here? So I thought, I need to know if this was a fluke, if this was a lucky shot, or if I'm actually good at this. I thought, what's the most niche thing I can talk about? And I'm a massive Thomas the Tank Engine fan. Major train dork, love my steam engines. It was a show that made me, before I realised what my mental health was, it made me feel safe and loved in a time where I didn't. And I didn't know why I felt so out of place and awkward and alone. And I always felt like a bit of like a dirty secret to be a fan of Thomas as I was getting older, because it wasn't seen as normal to like a quote unquote kids show. If you watch any of that stuff, it's fucking dark. Well, it's crazy how dark like the stories and like the early series were. No wonder I had nightmares. But I thought, right, I'm gonna do some videos like we top 10 best episodes, worst episodes, some reviews on it, and we'll see what happens. 6 weeks into it, it got monetized. And I was like, wow, okay, right. They always say 2 points make a line, not a pattern. Let's see if I can get three. And let's see if it's someone that's not me leading the charge. Thus, Super Ginge was born. And we were talking about like superheroes and that kind of ilk. And I brought in my now co-pilot and my ventures, Kevin Tierney, and said, look, this is something I want to try. Are you up for it? And he was like, all right, could be a laugh. Why not? Within 4 weeks, it got monetized. So I was like, okay, clearly something's here. So I didn't want to have to set up 3 businesses for each YouTube channel, because that would be a nightmare for the tax man. So I thought, so I'll create my own media company and they can all be lumped in. And thus, Ginger Media Limited was born. And now Kev has fully taken the reins of Super Geek. It's now renamed to Gentle Dorks. He covers a lot more than superhero stuff. And I'm just constantly trying to expand like the kind of brand of Ginger Media. Like, we want to do more. We're doing more niche podcasting. I even got my brother on board to talk about Transformers. And my brother's not like me. Like, he's never had that kind of acting thing about him. He's got the confidence, he's got the skill, and he's got the passion. He just never had anybody telling him, you can't do this, like I did. And he now talks about Transformers. And he's getting like a good kind of cult following building up as well. And it's just so nice to bring in people like family and close friends to something that I'm doing and giving them confidence and giving them a little bit of training and
you're doing a podcast with my friend Chris, the Red and Yellow Makes Ginger podcast, and that's taking off.
Yes, he just crossed 1,000 subscribers. We're just working on his view count. So everybody, we've got 3,000 views to go. Chris also uploads some more videos so we can get the views up.
That's awesome.
But Chris is absolutely brilliant as well, as you know. And I loved the first interview that you done with him on it, because I had the privilege of editing the episode, and I loved it. And he's great at what he does. He just needs someone to focus on the back end, and he can do the creating because he's great at creating. And it's just great to help people. As you can see, it just puts the smile on my face.
Yeah, you really have done an amazing job. I really hope that you will feel proud of that. And I'm just it's so impressive to me also just being able to be open about struggles. Like, was that always easy for you to be open about your mental health struggles?
No, it definitely wasn't. And I denied it for a very, very long time, that I had anything wrong with me. Because, and when I grew up in the 90s in Scotland, there was a kind of stigma around mental health. It was like it didn't exist. You were basically just told that, you were too sensitive, or a big Jessie was the great phrase in Scotland. Or the other great phrase, what are you, gay? So, because I wasn't good at sports, I was very much into my drama and all that kind of stuff that people thought was, oh, he must be a natural yoga teacher. And what? No, I just can't kick a ball. Very simple. And
it must be so awful for the actual LGBTQ people there. Like, so what if you were? Like, is there nothing wrong with that?
yeah, who cares? It doesn't bother me in the slightest. And I remember one of my close friends, he officially came out to us when we were 16, and we were all like, so we've known since primary seven when you came in with your hair dyed and you looked like Guile from Street Fighter 2. It's like we knew back then. We were just more disappointed it took you this long to tell us. And he was like, "Well, I thought you would stop being friends with me." And I was like, "Wow, we never would have considered that. But wouldn't matter what orientation the
Yeah.
person was. Like, you love them for the person that they are,
Yeah.
regardless."
So
But
what helped you to realize, no, I need to talk about this?
it was coming out of an abusive relationship. It was a physically, emotionally, and mentally abusive one. Got diagnosed with mental health issues then, and again, what I was kind of, no, that's not a thing. You don't have that. You're just looking for excuses to get out of being with this person or not go to work and all this kind of stuff. And I hated feeling like I couldn't talk to anybody, or I'm just feeling alone and scared, and I don't want anybody to feel like that. And even after that, I still wasn't good at really opening up until my kids came. And I don't want them to go through that. I don't want them to feel what I felt, let them feel like they can't talk about their feelings or what come to me if they're scared or they're upset or what or whatever. And so if I want them to do that and be open and honest, I need to be open and honest. I need to be upfront about the struggles that I go through, like the issues that I have, and it's not just a simple, you talk about things and it's fine, and then that's you for the rest of the time. You know yourself, it doesn't work like that. But as we spoke about just before we came on, uh, I am at the time of this recording on a suicide watch because I've had a severe breakdown, and it's been tough. My wife is absolutely terrified to leave me on my own. I'm scared to be left on my own. In all honesty, what the only time that I am technically left on my own is when I'm with my kids, because I would never do anything around them. I would not want them scarred in that way. I never would never do that to them. And it's the only time that I will be left kind of to my own devices. But for now, for the foreseeable, I am not allowed to be left on my own. If I even leave the house, it's going to be an instant right, get police to the door, try and find them kind of situation. So even now, like, I still have to try and practice what I preach, and I still have to try and be the person that I want to be, so other people can see it and go, yeah, we will still go through this. We will still struggle. Mental health is an ongoing process. It's when people say, I was a victim of mental health, and I'm like, no, I have mental health issues. I always will. It's a long-term thing for me. There is no escaping it. And some days will be good, some days will be bad. What like the last few months have been an absolute nightmare, but the time before that, I was flying high and loving it. It was great. So it's tough. It's tough to do, and it's tough to say. Every time I pick up this mic, I'm like, oh my God, do I say this? Do I not say it? But when you feel like you have to do it for not only your own mental health, but for other people, to let them know that I'm my friends, but shit happens. It's how you deal with that shit is what defines you. And yeah, that's what I feel like I need to do and I have to do.
What is it like? When your thoughts are going dark, what is it like to fight those thoughts?
It's exhausting, extremely exhausting. Mental health really does take a toll on the physical as well, as a lot of people do know. But I think until you experience it, you don't realize the type of effect it can have on your body. Uh, like I said, when just before I got put on the watch, I was on the phone for an hour to the Samaritans, crying my eyes out and just feeling like I don't belong here anymore. I need to go. I Afterwards I fell asleep for 12 hours. I just couldn't. My body just shut down. I was so tired and worn out and stressed, and I just physically couldn't move. And when the thoughts go dark, it's not a case of it's all of a sudden kind of drip feeds in. Once you've got the control, when you realize the triggers, it's a bit more of that. But sometimes it can just go like click of a finger. And that was what happened to me that day. Like I was just doing something really simple, like just going on and checking that a bank payment was made, and I also didn't have as much money in my account as I thought I would have, and then it just spiraled, like completely spiraled down, and I was totally caught off guard and unaware of it. The worst part for me is that I have memory blanks when stuff like that happens, because it's like a panic attack, fight or flight situation. Well, mine's is flight, and I couldn't remember about 10, 20 minutes after seeing that number on my account, and I was like, okay. I was like, time has passed here. I don't know what's happened. I'm in trouble. So I went and contacted the Samaritans. It turned out that during that time, I'd sent an email to my boss at this time in my day job, basically saying, I am not going to be on this planet anymore. Bye. And I cannot remember saying that. I cannot remember sending it. But the police came to my door because they called a welfare check, and my kids answered it. And that was horrible. I mean, they just think, oh, police were here. That's funny. My uncle's a policeman or whatever. They were just like that. But for me, it was the most humiliating thing that I could have ever had happen to me. That my kids answered the door to the police and they were asking for their dad. So it's not a great time when you go through something like that, and it never is. I'm sure people will have been in worse situations than me, and I've been in worse situations than other people. But if it's a situation to you, it doesn't matter if someone's got it worse than you or you've got it better than someone else. Well, your situation is your situation.
Yeah.
Well, you're totally entitled to your feelings about that situation because it's relevant to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I ask what did you tell the kids? Like how much do they know about what's going on? I know they're so little, but I've had 5-year-olds. I know that they ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, they do. They really do. They know that I'm not well. They know that that I'm not like currently working. That I'm struggling, but they don't know too much. It's like the fine balancing act because I don't want to overload them because they're so young, and but at the same time I want to be honest with them, and I usually am. Like if it stays where I've had like maybe just a bit of a blip or a bit of a down day, well, I'll say to them, Daddy's feeling a bit sad just now. I'm not sure why, but it's not your fault, and I still love you, and I'll still look after you the best I can. But if I do get a bit sad, or I get a bit, or maybe have a cry, just know it's nothing to do with you, and that's perfectly fine. And they are surprisingly really good with me as well. Like because I can sometimes be quick to anger when I'm in that situation as well. I don't like to be, but sometimes it happens. And they can pick up on it before I do, and they come up to me and they say like, "Daddy, remember, breathe." And it's like, I love you guys, I really do. And it helps that they get taught a lot about regulating their feelings and regulating their emotions now. I think a lot more than we did, even just that short space of time ago. I mean, they're doing yoga at nursery. Well, they're learning about emotional regulation, and I'm like, you guys know how to control your emotions better than I do. Good on you. Give me tips. I need them.
Yeah, because it's like finally this generation isn't being raised with ignore your feelings make you weak, and anger is a character flaw. Like, no, these things that we were told were character flaws are so often just responses to stress and stimuli, and yeah.
Yeah, and especially the way the world is like right now at the time of this recording, the world is a shit show. Complete and utter shit show. And because I do like sometimes do stand-up comedy as well. And I talk about my mental health and that too. And a couple of comedians have also followed suit. They like to do that. And they've said, one of them went to the GP and was asked, are you on any medication? It was like, it's 2023. Is anybody not on medication? And it was like, okay, do you suffer from anxiety, depression? It's 2023. Doesn't everybody suffer? And she was like, you can imagine how the conversation went. And it's very, very true. But it's not a case of people are suffering more. I think it's finally being recognized.
Mm.
Back even like in my dad's day or my granddad's day, like mental health didn't exist. But my granddad, like, he must have had he had anger issues, he had depression, he had anxiety, and my dad, like he's had bouts of anxiety before, and that actually brought us closer together. I would never have talked to my dad about how I felt about 5, 10 years ago about my feelings or anything. But he did have a problem with his mental health. He had a physical injury which stopped him from working, and he started to spiral. And I was like, okay, you're just hopping on this train. We'll get you to the next stop. I drive the train on a return journey 24/7. I will help you. And I did. And now it's so much better to talk to him about it. I'll go to my dad and talk to if I'm struggling more than my mum sometimes. And my mum was my best friend. She still is, in all honesty, aside from Alison.
That's awesome. You really do have a gift. You
Uh,
you really do have a special light to be able to turn things around and use it to help other people and to not be ashamed of the struggle because I feel like that you are not the struggle. Like there's this darkness that you're fighting, but that's not who you are. It's just a sickness like diabetes or cancer or whatever.
yeah, definitely. And I think mental health's harder to diagnose because we don't know what goes on in people's heads. It's what if you break a bone, you know what to do. You get it in a plaster cast, you sort it out, like you go to therapy, and do some rehabilitation, for it, and usually you're ready to go. We have to have the kind of same mindset when it comes to mental health too. But just because you're mentally broken doesn't mean you can't be fixed again. And I've been through that multiple times. Like when I had my kids, I had a psychotic break. I was hallucinating that I was hurting my kids. I never actually did. My wife can confirm that. But I thought it was real. In my head, I was hurting my kids, my newborn kids. It was horrible. It was frightening. And I was ready to just go out and just go, right, I am out of here because I am a danger. But no one else saw it because it didn't happen. It was nightmare, like living an actual nightmare. And I thought, is this who I am going to be? Am I now going to be sent to, the loony bin and put in a padded cell and all this stuff? I was terrified because I couldn't trust my own head. I couldn't trust anything that I was seeing or smelling, or like all my senses just went, okay, we're just going to betray you now. Bye. And it was a nightmare. But it took a lot of work. Took a lot of kind of emotional realigning. It took a lot of therapy. Like I will highly recommend therapy until like the day I die. If you have the money, get the private as well, because like you can go deeper into your like past traumas and your psychological issues to help. That helped me massively. I was very, very fortunate at that time. I freely admit I was fortunate that I was able to do that. But it helped me through one of the darkest times of my life. To actually think that you're hurting your kids and believe you're hurting your kids. Your perception of reality just went. It was horrifying.
How did you learn to ground yourself to what's real?
Listening to the people around me, because I wasn't listening to like my wife, I wasn't listening to my parents or carers or like, because we had social work in as well, because I was having these thoughts, because I was terrified that what I was doing this to my kids, and they're like, no, you're not doing anything. But I had to really train to trust the opinions of other people more than I trusted myself. So I had to let my ego down, let my pride down, and accept what they were telling me was fact, and it wasn't real.
Because
That's
to
it.
not accept what they're saying would be to open up a whole other doors of delusions and paranoia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to, and I did have to be put on some antipsychotics for a while. For some people, what medication doesn't work. For me, dope me up to the eyeballs if you can,
Mm.
especially when it comes to something like that, because I
Yeah.
don't want that type of stuff.
I remember
What?
there's a guy on YouTube who deals with serious psychosis, and he
Mm,
will get his phone out to be like, "Are you really there?" And if they don't show up in the camera, then he knows
mm,
that they're not there.
yeah, yeah. I never actually thought of that. In fairness, but it was just more like trust Alison, especially trust my wife. If she what if I thought I'd done something to them, I'd be like, check them, check for any marks, check for any what red skin, check everything, to make sure, because I knew if I did do something, there would be a mark, or there would be a mark in the next day or two, and that was tough. That was tough to admit to Alison. I was saying, I think I slapped my son, or I think I gave him a smack. Please check it for the next couple of days. But every time, it's fine.
Hmm. Did you ever worry that she would judge you about all of this?
Oh yeah, yeah. I still worry. In all honesty, even though it's been over 5 years, I still worry about that judgment.
Mm.
That's what, and it's like if anything happens to the kids, like for example, about a year later, Kieran had to get an emergency hernia surgery, and then the following year, that reoccurred, and there was two hernias. You had to get them sorted, and my brain went, see, everything that you were thinking wasn't a delusion. You did hurt him. It's your fault that this happened. And that, when Angela went, like, I just said to Alison that I'm thinking that this is my fault. And she's like, why? And I told her, that's what I was thinking about. And she's like, no, no, it's nothing to do with you. It's just unfortunate that something like this has happened to Kieran. But we've caught it. He's going to be fine. We'll get him. He's going for his surgery. He will be okay. And he is diving about like a mofo now. He is a bruiser. Like he's going to be the footballer my dad wished that I could be. Like
Your your
he's
your wife just sounds like an awesome, awesome, incredible person.
she is, and she doesn't realize it as well. Well, I always say to her, every day I say thank you, and she's like, for what? And she's like, for being you. Well, she's like, I don't do anything. I'm like, you do so much more than you realize. You're not only like an amazing mum to my kids, and an amazing cat mum to our cat, but she's like wife, mother, and everything to me as well. She's the support that I'd never thought I would be lucky to have, and I am. I know a lot of people say, the best day of your life is when your kids are born, but you know what it's like when if it's an emergency section when it's twins. That's trauma. So I
Been there.
freely, yep. So I freely admit when I say my wedding was the best day of my life,
Hmm.
1,000%. Everything that could have went right did go right, and it will always be the best day of my life. I love my kids more than anything in the world, as every parent does. But meeting Alison was literally my saving grace, because 2 months beforehand I tried to kill myself.
Hmm.
Well, I went out in a bender because it was a free bar, and I thought, screw it, right, off we go. That was my expiration date in my head, and if that had happened, I wouldn't have the life I have now.
Hmm.
Because 2 months later, I met Alison, and we've now been together. We'll be 10 years. We've been together, 7 years married. We have two beautiful kids. We've built a life for ourselves, and I just feel so grateful.
You're building a ginger empire.
Yeah, I keep saying that. I'm kind of like the Vince McMahon of content creation without the sexual harassment suits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually just meant to be a joke. It didn't land this time, but it normally does.
Sorry, it's late over here.
No, totally understandable. Because I keep forgetting about the time difference. Because is it 1 hour or 2 hours difference between the UK?
Oh, let's see. It's like 10:40 now or something.
So it's 1 hour ahead because it's 9:40 over here.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
it's
So,
just great getting to catch up with you more than anything else. I'm so glad to see everything that you've been doing. Because I always, how sometimes you think, do people actually watch my stuff? I do. I watch your stuff.
oh,
Like, you are a supporter of the Ginger. The Ginger is a supporter of you.
awesome. I'm really, really glad that you have this time right now to breathe, to not have to focus on work. That I hope that you're like feeding your inner child and bringing all the things that make you happy and building a happy fort of Thomas the Tank and family and cuddles and just everything that you love. Is that about right?
Pretty much, yeah, definitely. Like the kids are a huge part of that. They're a huge part of it. Because most time I'm playing with their toys. Or I'm like watching their shows with them on Netflix and laughing at like stupid like fart jokes
Well,
that they see on it. And I'm like, hey, you
we gotta
farted.
we gotta feed our inner child. We
Mm,
like I love that millennials are like, you know what, I'm gonna buy this toy and play with it because I can, and we're not ashamed
mhm.
of just doing what makes us happy. Like,
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. You know the thing that has made me happy this week? Balloons. We blew up some balloons for the boys, obviously for the birthday, and we've just been playing keepy uppy with them, and we've been playing like balloon tennis, just the four of us, and it is such a laugh. It is so fun. My wife and I are just like we'll get one of the kids on each team, even though it's not a competition. But they try and make it into one, and we just have fun. Something so simple as a balloon. They weren't like overly spoiled, but they got nice toys and that, and we gave them a nice day for their birthday and things like that, and lots of artistic stuff and all that. A balloon has been the best present they've had so far. And it's been the best present for me as well. It's just been somewhere I'm like, you know what, I've had a rubbish day. Bat. Bat the balloon. It doesn't move that far. It's all cool.
You know, it occurs to me to for you to always have a balloon in your pocket that when the kids are in bed and you're all alone and things are creeping up, that you feel that rubber thing between your hands, and that's like a grounding thing right now. Like when the
Mm,
kids wake up, we're gonna bat this balloon around and it's gonna be fun and we're gonna love each other and make memories.
yeah, I think so. I think that's it. I think that's probably the best plan. Always have a balloon.
Always have a balloon.
There we go. That could be the title of this episode. Always have a balloon.
It could be. I mean, obviously the podcast expert, so
Oh, what? You're very kind, but what I genuinely don't see myself as that at all. What?
well, you don't need
It's the
to worry about titles of expert or professional.
mm,
Just knowing that you are making a difference and you are putting light out there into the world. Just take that. If you don't take anything else, take that value that you are not, and also the value that you are, and you awesome people watching this video, your value is not in what you do, it's who you are. And you are valuable, and you, Andrew, are valuable. And I'm so glad that we could just have this time to chat. And oh my gosh, I could cry right now. Like, I have so many feelings just like bubbling up. Like, I just
mm,
want to hug you, Andrew. I'm really, really glad that you're here.
thank you. I really appreciate it. And the same applies. What you're doing great things to kind of put that little light out in which are some very dark times. And your videos have helped me through some of the dark times lately. So thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me.
That's awesome. Thank you for telling me.
You're very welcome. Well, we'll both be in tears soon. This is going.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
There's the tears that are like letting out, like cleaning out the bad stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah, nothing
Yep.
wrong with feelings.
Yeah. Sometimes you need a real ugly cry. Well, and
Yeah.
I had to have that when I went to the doctors and stuff a couple of weeks ago. And it was the proper, like, you're shaking because you're crying that much. But everything had to come out. Everything that I was holding on to the last couple of months, I had to just let it all go. Be damned if my wife was listening. Be damned if my mum was listening. Psychiatrists, whatever. It got to that point. It had to come out. And since then, it's just been a good, like, kind of, it's that I'm in that kind of eye of the storm. Things are more tranquil now. Well, I know there's still a lot of work to do, but I've been down here before and I know the way out.
That's awesome. You're gonna keep fighting that way out. I believe in you, and I want to give your wife a hug too, and just thank her for her constant support, that she's never gonna give up on you, and she's always gonna be there to say it's gonna be okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. But I'm just so lucky to have her and the kids and the cat. I love my cat.
Even
I'm
when cats
allergic.
are super annoying.
Yeah, I'm allergic to cats as well. Well, that's always the sign of the true love. But the cat was on the scene before I was, and when Alison moved in with me, it was a case of, like, this cat has to come with me or I don't come at all. And I was like, okay, the cat's coming. I can take an antihistamine. Well, and yeah, 9 years later, that cat's still around, and I love that little thing.
Hmm. Yeah, the purring is magic. Like, there is something magic about that vibration.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and just getting we got her a wee toy to play with lately. I mean, she's not a young cat. I mean, she's 12. Well, but we just got her a wee toy to play with, and I think the boys are enjoying me playing with Rita more than the cat is. She's like, okay, I'll entertain the kids. So she bats the toy, and then I make, like, little funny noises when she does it, and the boys are killing themselves laughing. And there's a lot of things I'm like, this is literally a nice family activity that everybody, even the cat, can begrudgingly enjoy.
Begrudgingly. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you again so much for being here. And I will be including all the links. Well, I'm knocking things over. I will include I will include all the links to all of your Ginger Empire Media Limited, whatever the company's called, so that people can connect with whatever aspects of your work that you're doing. And yeah, is there any last thing that you would like to say? Any last encouragement that you'd like to put out there for our wonderful listeners?
Well, kind of a variation of what I say at the end of, like, my episodes of that Metal Gender show. I always say, take care, stay safe, bye bye. And it's an adaptation from a radio presenter I used to listen to when I was a kid. His radio name was called Tiger Tim. And he used to say, take care, God bless, bye bye. And that little sign off always gave me such nice feelings because I would listen to his show and it always brought me good memories. So always try and find something like that to kind of hold on to. And until next time, because there will be a next time, you take care, you stay safe. Bye bye.
Thank you. And the way that I end my conversations is I give hugs.
Hey.
Hugs. All right. Bye. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
I should know by now, when the sun goes down, the earth's gonna turn and the heaven's gonna burn again. The earth's gonna turn and the heaven's gonna burn again.